We're on the road again. We're on the road to glory, guys, and it is episode 12. The Sorare scouts and managers from around the world have been at it again in the comments section of the last video, nominating players to be featured on this video in the hopes of winning the giveaway we do every single week. At the end of this video, jump onto the homepage of the YouTube channel Quinny 3001, and there'll be a poll there for you to vote on who should be this week's winner. In game week 361, the Road to Glory team went out there as strong as we possibly could with some high XP players and some decent enough fixtures, but we just didn't get any decisives. Unfortunately, it was one of those weeks where Etienne Vassin didn't bleed a 50. He actually took a 26. But with the rest of the outfield not performing, I don't mind that. As long as they negatively correlate together, then hopefully we're going to get some of that positive correlation come forward in the next game week. And for game week 363, this is the team that would be best suited for cap 270. Our guys are too good to go into 240. And as much as I'd back Tony to get a goal against Rangers, being an ex-Celtic player after the derby, after the fallout afterwards, it would not surprise me one bit. But for the amount of budget we've got left in the squad, it would be 41 points. Could we find somebody on the road to glory to bring in for this game week to deliberately enhance this lineup that we have? Jalen Neal, who is a road to glory accepted player, like we will be bringing him into the squad. We're just trying to strategically keep around that 10 limited number for the moment, and his L15 is a wee bit too punchy for us. Jackson Irvin, who was voted to come into the club last weekend, he is also L15 a little bit too expensive for us, but we're looking forward to bringing both those guys in, certainly when the opportunity presents itself. The squad has been voted and we will be bringing them in. Now, if I go into Sorare data and I type in FC Barcelona RTG, I'm going to find one of the best watch lists on the website everywhere. There's over 133 Sorare scouts and managers following it at the moment. If you don't follow it already, make sure you do. Before I record this week's submissions, there's 307 entries in here. Players of all shapes, sizes and budgets and cap allowances. So I'm going to have a wee thumb through the watch list here and see if there's anyone that jumps out. An L15 of 43 has just been a huge asset for us to pick up this game week. Hakon Evjen at an L15 of 44 this game week, and Cifuentes with an L15 of 42 are two close calls. Keaton Parks at 43. But I think it's time to step up. Lucas Cachavenda, he's got an L15 of 41, dropped a 100 2 game weeks ago before playing Dinamo Zagreb. Osijek away is not going to be an easy fixture, but I remember being excited by this guy when we previewed him, when we profiled him before, and maybe it's time we bring him in. Under 23 eligible until 2027. He feels like an FC Barcelona pick. Brais Mendes is L1541. Now, I actually already like Brais this weekend in the derby against Athletic Bilbao. He's due a big score. He's only £6 for a limited at the moment. That L15 of 41 is appealing because look at the form he can get when he gets a decisive or two. You know, he's very effective. He's just not had a great run of form really since this kind of post-World Cup period, I guess, probably. Yeah. So after a quick scan through the watch list, we've got a nice little short list for the cap mode. Do we bring in Brais Mendes at £6.10, Cachavenda at £4, or Gaston Veron at £6? I think for the last 10 games of the season, Sociedad's fixture list is quite choppy. It's quite mixed on good and bad weeks. Cachavenda's only got 8 games left, and Gaston Veron isn't that prolific at the moment where I'd be jumping up to get him into the squad. And I think the versatility that this Brais Mendes could give us for perhaps a semi-pro division before the season finishes, we're going to bring him in. So I think we're going into cap 270 with this team, probably Captain Was, but Brais Mendes will come into the team. And our first suggestion from a Sorare scout manager from around the world for someone to come into the squad is also another Argentinos Juniors player, is Javier Cabrera from Zihad. 31-year-old right midfielder. Argentinos Juniors very solid, and as we've seen on that predicted 11, he is expected to play, and they've got a very odd shape, but they're very resolute defensively. And this guy he's basically an attacking right back, really, more than anything from the looks of things. Not too many decisive actions, not that many bad scores because he's a midfielder card. Doesn't quite get that penalty on possession loss to the same extent. Also, no clean sheet bonuses or whatever. Seems okay. Definitely somebody we'll add into the watch list and we'll pay attention to, because I think we've had quite a few Argentinos Juniors players recommended to us, so that might even be a stag that we might even go and acquire. And I love it when former Road to Glory winners keep coming back to the series with fantastic recommendations. Not only is Joe Ducey done that, but he's actually collaborating with another Sorare scout and manager on the shout as well. We've had Barry Al recommended before. But Joe Ducey has actually recommended Santiago Arias. Now, Arias moved to Atletico Madrid a few years ago under some sort of promise of being the number one right back when Simeone first attempted to rejuvenate that Atletico backline post Juanfran, where Kieran Trippier obviously eventually ended up playing and winning the league for them. But anyway, Arias never really worked out for him at Atleti. I think he maybe went to Germany as well. £5.91 for, a Colombian international that's played in Europe to like some sort of extent. L15 of 39 could be very interesting. And Joe reckons this guy's going to come back into the Cincy team, and he already has in the last game week. 73 minutes, 71 points, no decisive action at all. And with the clean sheet bonus, 10 points of that, and a good overall attacking right back showing. That's a very good score, and that's someone we want to add into our watch list. Joe Ducey, great shout. Now, Canaries has recommended Marc-Anthony Kaye of FC Toronto. Now, since Bradley's came into Toronto, they went out and got Insigne, Bernadeschi, but they also went out and got guys like Sean Johnson, Marc-Anthony Kaye into the dressing room, into the club to try and rebuild TFC. Toronto, if you're new to MLS, are over the last 10 years one of the powerhouse teams in MLS over the last, since the Giovinco era, really. So Marc-Anthony Kaye, Canada international, very prominent MLS midfielder, L15 of 51, L5 of 64 is quite nice to see. £11 for the limited, so he's very much in form and got a lot of fixtures coming his way. And yeah, his form since being in Toronto is, wow, that's exceptional, isn't it? He's got a goal here for that 88, but he's got two other 80-plus scores with no decisive, one of them even without the clean sheet. So yeah, a lot of promise post-World Cup, now in Toronto, Marc-Anthony Kaye. So yeah, that's definitely something we want to pay attention to, because at 28 years of age, you like to think he's probably at the peak of his powers, being in his, I don't know if it is his hometown, but he's a Canada international, he's in Toronto, and he's ripping up trees, so he must feel quite settled. Great position, something we want to pay attention to, no doubt about it. And I really like the Toronto kit this year as well, if I'm honest. It's a nice one. Now, football player here is, again, we're getting another Cincinnati recommendation. He's recommended Junior Moreno. Now, this is one of the players that's been brought into Cincy to try and level them up, and his form so far has been pretty solid. He's got a cost on the cap of 51. His cost on the market is £7.85. The Venezuelan international also is, as you can see, L5 is pretty good. He's on an upward trajectory. He's getting settled into Seattle, into Cincinnati, I beg your pardon, and he's starting to get some decisive. Cincinnati themselves have improved on last season, which did surprise a lot of people how well they did last year, and for them to improve on that has been good, and this guy's been a big part of that as well. So with Arias, Barreal, and now Moreno, we've got a bit of a Cincinnati stack recommended to us. And maybe with Argentinos Juniors, maybe there's some sort of really cool hybrid in there that we can explore. We maybe leave that for the next live stream we do, but that's a wee thought experiment for us, perhaps. Will Drake has recommended Stefan Ristovski from Dinamo Zagreb. This guy has international utility, and he's putting up some monster scores. And when you check him out, L15 of 64, but he's only £7 for a limited. The North Macedonian international is currently on amazing form. Look at that L10 he's running around with, a bunch of 80 pluses, a 100, and yeah, he plays right mid, right back, centre back, a little bit of everything from this guy, it seems like, at Zagreb. And if he's running on this kind of form, he can be a very reliable card at £7. His cap cost is quite punchy. So I don't know if he looks more appealing to me than like Ferro, for example, who's already in the squad. But yeah, he's a great looking player for £7. Ben Buckley, one of the Sorare scouts and managers from around the world, has recommended Mikael Kaufman. This guy's been putting up solid scores since November, and he is under 23 with an L15 of 51, and he plays for Karlsruhe in Bundesliga 2. Now, L15 of 54, like you said, under a tenner, Danish player, and his scores, wow, solid. Especially this L10. He says since November. I suppose we're probably got a break in there when you look at the game week numbers. And this guy's been wolfed. This guy's been raining decisives. Oh, Karlsruhe have been on a run, haven't they? Even when they lost 5-2, this guy got 2 decisives and a 1-1 draw. He's managed to get the goal as well. This guy, yeah, proper form. And yeah, 22 years old. This is a guy we probably do really need to watch out for. This form does not go unnoticed in football, especially if he continues this kind of form up. Like doing that to Hamburg, who are top-ish of the table, and yeah, just have the run of form. St. Pauli as well, big fixture. And they had a wee bit of luck earlier, or a wee bit of form earlier this season. Really impressed by him. Let's add him into the watch list quickly. Do it now. Glenn Hoddle has showed up to the Road to Glory series with the recommendation of Ramon Lundqvist. Playing in Norway now for Sarpsborg, should be on most set pieces and had a banging pre-season. The season has just started in Norway. His L15 is 26 from his time in Holland, it would look like. He's under £6 at the moment. And yeah, he's played one game and he scored 27 points. His team lost 2-0, and it doesn't look like he did anything of note. But if he is going to be on a lot of set pieces, Bodo are one of the hardest teams in Norway, so I wouldn't really read too much into this, even though they were at home. Say the full season's yet to come. And the Norwegian League, hey, if you're on set pieces, you're always going to be in amongst the chance, like we see with some of these Croatian players, to just get in amongst the decisive and the Bundesliga 2 guys as well. So, yeah, Ramon Lundqvist at 25. Yeah, let's add him in to the Road to Glory watch list. Now, we've had a lot of Division 2 monsters recommended on the Road to Glory series, whether it be in Bundesliga 2 or La Liga 2. But one of the Division 2s around Europe, the big five, that we get good coverage for on Sorare, a lot of cards available, so you can actually get the guys that you identify, is Ligue 2. Now, one of the most famed academies in world football is Sochaux, who play in Ligue 2 at the moment. And Aaron Phillips has recommended Skelly Alvaro. Now, this guy is under 23 until 2026, currently 20 years of age, is L5 is 65. He's £11 at the moment for Unlimited, and his form over the last 10 games is stellar. Sochaux have been in okay form through this period. It's not like they've been beating everyone or anything like that. He plays in defensive midfield for the most part, which is very interesting for, is he a midfielder card? He is a midfielder. So yeah, that's really good if he's getting all those all-around points on the regular. For a mid, playing as a mid, there's no kind of odd detail there that might get scuppered, which is interesting. But like I said, guys, I can't say this enough. The Sochaux Academy is very, very well renowned and very well thought of. And I'm at the stage of just seeing this and maybe just buying this guy now. He will go into the watch list, no two ways about it. But that's a name I've got a feeling that we're gonna hear again. Not just on this channel, but other places. Skelly Alvaro. Now, Burek has recommended an old favourite of mine. I used to have a super rare of Henry Kessler, and he's a solid defender. You don't need me to tell you too much about him, but I'm going to, because he is as solid as they come. If you're new to MLS or you're looking for some off-season utility, this guy is solid. He's 24, so he's no longer U23 eligible. That means no U23 premium. His scores here, this is what you're going to get out of him. L15 of 53 is £6 for Unlimited at the moment. And as you can see on his actual form, he does have 80 capability in him. He's a really solid MLS defender. If you watch him playing, he's very much at the top end of MLS defender, but he's not that good where by holding him, I've never had any fear that he would move to Europe and SO5 die, if that makes sense. He's very much in with New York, England, New England Revolution. Bruce Arena loves him. I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. And with New England having a very solid track record of really good goalkeepers and a really good defensive unit and record, Kessler is one of the main beneficiaries of that, one of the main proponents of that. So if you're after a solid team in MLS with a solid defender that's young, not over the hill, not in danger of any kind of big money moves for any direction, China, Europe, or whatever, this guy is a great pick, a big box ticker. We'll definitely add him in at Road to Glory because we might call upon him. Now, Weldon Barretos actually came to the party with two suggestions. I like both of them. The first one is Donatien Gomez, 28 years old. He's £1. That's why I like him. He's £1.20. No nonsense, kind of right back at the moment for Greencamp. And yeah, he's a decent little shout for the Road to Glory. Probably not even for the watch list, but if you're catching this video, or if you see this clip, he's £1. And Ivan Banic, who I'm a bit more interested in at 20 years old, this guy is a £7.40 goalkeeper who seems to be in at the moment for the team that he's currently at, which is Gorica. Although they're not a great team, he's a playing goalkeeper. He's £7. He seems to be in for the now. And yeah, if you need a bit of short-term utility, who knows if he'll be the goalkeeper next season, but it looks like he's playing at the moment, then maybe he's a decent shout. Now, what was I just saying about France Ligue 2? Cryptic Mick, last week's winner on the Road to Glory series, is recommended Maxime Bereneur. Now, Maxime is currently playing for Paris FC in Ligue 2. He has an L15 of 60 and L5 of 64. Only £4.25 for Unlimited, and when you actually zoom in and look at these scores, his averages are huge because he's dropped 2 100s in quick succession. This guy's playing centre-back at the moment, and if he gets a decisive, he is on for a huge score. He is an AA powerhouse, and as we've seen in these D2 situations, like that stuff can be fairly repeatable for these guys if they show those credentials, So, this is a guy that at £4, I think, is wildly undervalued, and we'll add him into the watch list because we could need a cheat code guy like this next year. Now, Tom Brimson here has dropped an amazing scouting report here for the Road to Glory series. He's been on to recommend Joe Ward, Harvey Barnes, and Shea Adams into the Road to Glory series. Now, I know internally Joe Ward is highly rated at Crystal Palace, and Roy Hodgson is probably going to play him every game for the rest of the season. With an L15 of 38 and he's only 78 pence, he could be a semi-pro option that we look at if we think Palace are on for a clean sheet, because he's going to be playing at right back, and if they keep a clean sheet and he doesn't give away too many passes or whatever, maybe he locks in with an assist, then, he's somebody for under £1 we could certainly consider again. Harvey Barnes, L15 of 39 as well. I'm a big fan of it. £7 is a wee bit more expensive, of course, but he's a very decisive, capable midfielder. SO5 wise, it reminds me a lot of how I think about Asensio, which is quite a weird thing to say. Stylistically, they might be quite similar on the pitch, but somebody who I enjoy watching is not a card I'd probably look forward to trying to deploy into teams, unfortunately, as things stand at the moment. We need to really wait and see what happens with the Leicester manager situation, tactical developments, etc. But he's someone we want to definitely watch out for, because he could just turn around in a new situation very quickly and be a key player for them, like he can be. And Che Adams, international utility, of course, with Scotland, under a fiver at the moment. Southampton look to be relegated. He is out of contract end of season. No one really knows what's going to happen to him. And it looks like he's missed the last couple of games, through injury, been on Scotland duty. So hard to kind of go after Adams at the moment. But yeah, nice recommendations, and we'll definitely have all them in our thoughts. Now, Mohamed Jazan has recommended Brian Reynolds, the FC Dallas Academy graduate who made a really surprise, shock, multi-million-pound move to Roma a few years ago. He's currently out on loan in Belgium for Westerlo, and he's been tearing up trees. He is only on loan for the remainder of the season. Under 23 eligible until 2025. The Roma fullback is under £4 at the moment, and his scores in Belgium have been good, man. This has been really, really good. There's been some strong rumours, I think, of the likes of PSV maybe been interested in him, as well as one or two others. Who knows where he'll end up after the summer? It's not going to be Westerlo, I'll tell you that for nothing. But while he's still there, he's in the shop window, and these are the scores he's putting up. That's a real road to glory candidate. We'll add him in.